You're not an anime fan, you're a trend chaser. Solo Leveling, Frieren, Mushoku Tensei. Let me guess, those are in your top 5? Cool. Congrats on having the same taste as 10 million other people. While you've been riding the hype train, I found 10 isekai that are criminally underrated. This is honest 10 facts, 0 fluff. Let's get into it. Starting off with number 10, didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? The anime that proves the gods have a twisted sense of humor. Misato dies saving someone, gets a second chance at life. All she asks for? A normal, peaceful existence. Just average abilities. That's it. The gods agree, but here's the catch. Their idea of average is halfway between the weakest creature and the strongest being in the world. She's wildly overpowered, reborn as a Delvan Ashem. Her peaceful life plans go off the rails the second she regains her past memories and realizes just how broken her skills are. No matter how hard she tries to stay low-key, she keeps accidentally stealing the spotlight. But here's what makes this show work. It's not just another OP protagonist comedy. There's a wholesome girl adventurer squad, fourth wall breaking humor that actually lands, and surprising emotional moments that hit harder than you'd expect. This is a criminally underrated gem that balances chaos, comedy, and heart better than most isekai even attempt. And number 9, The Eighth Son? Are you kidding me? What if reincarnation was actually kind of a downgrade? Imagine this, you go to bed after a brutal workday. You wake up as a 6-year-old in a medieval fantasy world. Sounds great, right? Wrong. You're the 8th son of a broke noble family. No inheritance, no resources, not even main character energy. Just a useless title and a patch of dirt in the middle of nowhere. That's Ichinomiya Shingo, now known as Wendelin. He's stuck with absolutely nothing except one thing, rare magical talent. And that's when the glow up begins. This isn't your typical reincarnated as the chosen one story. Wendelin has to claw his way up from literal nobody to overpowered noble using politics, strategy, and magic. It's got that underdog energy mixed with fantasy world building that actually feels lived in. Is it a genre-defining masterpiece? Nah, but it's a solid, bingeable ride that deserves way more attention than it gets. At number 8, I'm Standing on a Million Lives, the isekai for people who think Sword Art Online played it too safe. Think SAO, but grittier, colder, and with actual consequences. Yusuke Yotsuya gets dragged into a game-like alternate world along with 2 classmates. He becomes the 3rd player in a series of deadly time-limited quests. You die, you respawn, but fail the mission, that's game over for everyone. Here's what makes this different. Yusuke isn't your typical hero. He's cold, strategic, detached. Sometimes he even toys with his teammates' lives just to secure the win, and the show doesn't apologize for it. This isn't the power of friendship saves the world. Energy, it's messy, morally gray, uncomfortably real. You watch Yusuke slowly evolve from emotionless tactician to something resembling human. And that evolution is what makes this hit different. It's underrated because it doesn't give you easy answers or feel-good moments. It asks hard questions about survival, morality, and what you sacrifice to stay alive. If you want dark fantasy that doesn't pull punches, this is your show. Number 7, My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. The isekai that asks, what if you reincarnated as the villain? Katarina Kloss is a wealthy noble who takes a rock to the head and suddenly remembers her past life as a girl obsessed with the Otome game Fortune Lover. The catch, she's now living inside that game as the main antagonist, and every single route, exile or death, that's it. Those are her options. So what does Katarina do? She goes full chaos mode, trying to dodge every bad ending possible. The result? She accidentally builds a reverse harem and turns literally everyone, male and female, into her biggest fans. This show is pure wholesome vibes, no edge, no grim stakes, just sweet, comforting fun with a lovably dense protagonist who's completely oblivious to the fact that everyone's in love with her. It's the perfect palate cleanser when you need a break from all the gritty, high-stakes isekai drama. Sometimes you just want to watch a himbo girl accidentally seduce an entire cast while gardening and eating sweets. And you know what? That's valid. Sliding into number 6, Knights and Magic, the isekai that's a love letter to giant robots. A die-hard mecha otaku from Japan gets reincarnated as Ernesti Echevarria in a fantasy world where giant magic-powered robots called silhouette knights are the norm. But Ernesti doesn't just dream of piloting one, he's out here redesigning them from scratch like a total tech prodigy. This anime is a straight up celebration of engineering, innovation, and giant robot battles. The attention to detail from the mechanics to the upgrades is top tier. Sure, the MC is OP, but the real flex, it's his passion, his relentless engineer grind, the way he geeks out over every upgrade and modification. If you've ever loved Gundam, Code Geass mechs, or just fantasy tech done right, Knights of Magic is a criminally underrated gem that deserves way more love. Think that time I got reincarnated as a slime, but with giant robots instead of nation building. Quick shout out, if you're vibing with this list, smash that like button and subscribe for more underrated gems. And hey, got a hidden isekai you think we missed? Drop it in the comments. Let's dive back in. Number 5, So I'm a Spider, So What? The isekai with two completely different vibes happening at once. One side, drama, politics, massive fantasy battles. The other, survival horror as a spider. Our protagonist is just a regular high school girl, until she's suddenly reincarnated as a spider monster inside a deadly dungeon crawling with nightmare fuel. No weapons, no party, no cheat skills, just webs, traps, and raw survival instincts. Armed only with her human smarts and chaotic optimism, she fights through monsters way stronger than her just to stay alive. And let's just say, she doesn't stay weak for long, her glow up is next level. Yeah, the animation can be hit or miss, but the world building slaps. And Komoko, she's clever, sassy, totally unhinged, and honestly one of the most entertaining isekai protagonists out there. The dual storyline structure keeps things fresh. You've got Spider-Girl grinding levels in the dungeon, and then you've got the human side dealing with kingdom level politics. When they finally connect, chef's kiss. If you can get past the occasional CGI spider, this is an absolute hidden gem. At number 4, Ascendance of a Bookworm, the isekai that trades swords and dragons for something way more intense, books. And trust me, it's way more captivating than it sounds. Arano Motosu is a book-obsessed girl who dies in an earthquake and wakes up as Mine, a sickly child in a medieval world where books are so rare they might as well be magical artifacts. But Mine doesn't care about nobility or power or slaying demons. She just wants to read. So what does she do? She sets out to invent the printing press from scratch. Yep, forget dungeon crawling. This girl's out here revolutionizing the entire publishing industry. The pacing is slow, but that's the point. This is one of the most realistic takes on reincarnation in anime. It's about how small innovations, persistence, and knowledge can change the world. It's wholesome, it's inspiring, and it's criminally underrated because people see girl wants books and assume it's boring. Wrong, this is world building at its finest. Watching Mine navigate class systems, economics, politics, and religion just to make paper, genuinely gripping. If you want an isekai that respects your intelligence and makes you think, this is the one. Coming in hot at number 3, Drifters, the isekai that doesn't mess around. Blood, war, strategy, all colliding in the most brutal way possible. The story kicks off with Shimazu Toahisa, a real-life samurai from Japanese history, getting mortally wounded in battle. Suddenly he's transported to a dark fantasy world, but he's not alone. He's joined by other legendary warriors from history, each with their own twisted ideologies and deadly skills. Together they're thrown into an all-out war between powerful factions, some trying to save the world, others trying to burn it to the ground. The animation is raw, the action is savage, the characters morally gray and wildly unpredictable. Brought to life by the creator of Hellsing, Drifters is violent, bloody, and full of dark humor. It's alternate history meets high fantasy warfare, and it does not pull a single punch. If you're into gritty, high-stakes battles with morally complex characters and zero plot armor, this one's pure fire. Think Fate Zero energy, but with even more historical figures beating the hell out of each other. At number 2, The Dungeon of Black Company, the anime for everyone who's ever worked a soul-crushing 9-to-5 and thought, there's gotta be more to life than this. Meet Kinji, a guy living the absolute dream, making bank through investments and proudly avoiding all forms of work. That is, until he gets yeeted into a fantasy world and wakes up in massive debt, enslaved by an evil dungeon mining company. Yup, capitalism followed him to another world too. But Kinji's not about that corporate slave life. Using scams, loopholes, and pure chaotic energy, he builds a team of misfits and launches a wild climb up the dungeon business ladder. It's hilarious, it's satirical, and it's way too relatable for comfort. This show is basically, what if you got isekai'd and still had to deal with terrible management, exploitative labor practices, and office politics, and somehow it makes that premise funny as hell. If you've ever dreamed of quitting your job with flair, this anime is your spirit animal. And finally at number 1, Gate, the isekai that flips the entire genre on its head. What if a portal to a fantasy world opened right in the middle of modern day Tokyo? That's exactly what happens. And Japan's response? Send in the JSDF, the Japan Self-Defense Forces. Yep. Modern soldiers with tanks, helicopters, and assault rifles marching into a land of dragons, magic, and elves. Our main guy, Yoji Itami, is an off-duty otaku turned soldier who suddenly finds himself leading missions in this new world. Along the way, he teams up with an elf girl whose village was wiped out by a dragon, and together they navigate battles, diplomacy, and complete cultural chaos. But here's what makes Gate special. This isn't just about flexing modern firepower on medieval knights, though that is extremely satisfying. It dives deep into politics, moral conflicts. What happens when two completely different civilizations collide? How do you negotiate peace when one side has magic and the other has missiles? It's a unique mix of military action, political intrigue, and cultural clash that no other isekai even attempts. Gate is one because it proves isekai doesn't have to be about reincarnation or overpowered protagonists. Sometimes the most interesting story is what happens when our world meets theirs. And that's 10 underrated isekai and fantasy anime you need on your watch list immediately. These shows prove the genre has so much more to offer than the same recycled stories. But this is just my list. Now I want to hear from you. Which underrated isekai do you think deserves more love? Did we miss one you think should have made the cut? Drop it in the comments, I'll be checking them out. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button right now. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, because we've got more hidden gems, deep dives, and rankings coming your way. Until next time, keep those isekai dreams alive. Peace.